Okay, I have to make another video. In this time, I will explain um, stuff. So basically, oh yeah, basically that, and that'll be the entire video. It's just that person's name. Okay, so I was thinking, uh, okay, you know how like they say neutrinos, frickin' protons and stuff are made of subatomic particles like, quarks and whatnot. And you know how they give them like spin categories? Well, I was thinking, the wave duality thing, um, how a photon particle can act like a wave at the same time. If you combine all that, you come to this realization that what constitutes the shape of the particle, like what makes it form rather than not. And then people would just be like, "Oh, gravity." But I'm trying to approach this without just using gravity because like that starts to break down um, it on a quantum sense, which they call quantum gravity, right? Um, so I'll just get to the point. The point is, uh, I don't tend to think photons are actually particles. I think it's the stopping power. It's the speed of light, the speed limit. They can't travel any faster, so they take that shape. Um, and otherwise, it would be a wave, um, like a 1D object, right? Or I guess 2D. Well, the Kashmir plate experiment supposes that you can force shorter wavelengths with repelling forces like two plates. Um, and I was thinking, okay, what if you make them magnetic and play around with that? Um, they already proved this recently. Um, so I'm trying to figure out the difference really between a 1D wave and a 2D wave. That's why I was kind of unsure when I said that. But anyways, because people say, oh, time's an illusion, like I was kind of saying, if you like think about time dilation, um, because of gravity. And but people still said, well, two-dimensional beings can still experience time. And it's like, well, how would they experience time other than a distortion along their one direction of movement, or perhaps two, right? So I'm saying it's still like the same exact problem. You end up with the same exact problem. What's distorting your movement, your velocity? Um, so that's why I'm trying to pick my words carefully, I guess. So a big example of this is when photons from the inside of the sun, for example, um, or let me just say electrons, since we're thinking particles, before I get to waves. Well, we should be thinking particles starting off because that's just the classical view. Quantum's weird. It involves waves and perhaps strings. So um, think of an electron or just an atom in general trying to make its way out of the sun, the core of the sun, right? It's going to take longer rather than not because of this crunching gravitational force. Um, the sun is massive. But the second it exits, I guess, don't quote me on this, the coronosphere, or like the area where, you know how we have an arbitrary demarcation line on Earth, the Kármán line, with how we're just like, yeah, I guess space starts here. Yeah, it's kind of like that. It takes, what is the measure? 8.5 minutes to reach Earth. And then not only that, but it has to bend in such a way and bounce off every single possible point of energy or distortion within the Earth's atmosphere due to its gravitational influence, just to make it to your eyes, right? And I know this is all very fast, but if we understand that now the entire time it's uh, the particle in question, just move back to photon, since really it's a question of mass, um, because mass is apparently created by distortion in space-time, right? Which is why, like, I I would assume most scientists agree already that space-time is fourth dimensional at least. Um, but yeah, so I guess what I'm saying is, if you think of them all in waves, then you start to realize where um, certain particles are more likely to travel than others. Um, because I don't know if you've seen some concepts of how electrons actually look uh, as a wave, but then you can start modeling that onto the Earth, and then you can understand exactly where these rays should hit, I guess. So personally, I'm wondering if there can be like an actual photon dead zone on the Earth that we're just not evolved to perceive, because we're only evolved to perceive the speed of gravity, which seems to slow down photons to what we think is its ultimate speed. And I call the concept quantum luminosity, since it would happen in the presence of any planet and any star configuration, meaning you at least have to have planets and stars. Um, which is back to my whole thing about how I thought quantum was hinting at a fourth dimension, uh, like just or extra dimensions beyond three. Um, but yeah, okay, I had to get all that off of my chest. Um, other than that, yeah, I got hecked up um, because I went to like a inpatient facility and some stupid welfare check thing. But basically, what happened was I got thrown off my HRT, so uh, the anti I forgot what the classification exactly for finasteride was, but that stopped helping me. So like my voice got even deeper, unfortunately, and I didn't like that either. Um, and then at the same time, like some stupid decisions I made led to my account not being in my control, my bank account. So like I got hecked up, and I didn't have time to like uh this is really just like an explanation of all of my past videos. I didn't have time to like clean it up, so I just wanted to get my ideas out there because for some reason, I thought surely, um, because I'm someone who takes like hypotheses, like alien hypotheses, seriously. Um, because I'm like, well, yeah, sure, why not? Like, scientists are always like, oh, are we alone? And I'm like, well, I mean, there's like dogs and there's like cats. And first of all, you have to explain how they would also come into existence, right? Um, and I don't know why that can't happen elsewhere. In fact, we have a lot of convergent evolution here. So it seems like there are already like cookie cutter sets that I'm sure appear on other worlds anyhow. Anyways, so for some reason, I thought that like some alien jerks could use anonymity on the internet to bully people. Because we already see like stuff like, I mean, that wouldn't be like physically impossible because we see things like Chat GPT doing that. Um, so like, and it doesn't even have a human body. So I guess I just thought that for some reason, like there'd either be an AI trying to like steal the best ideas, which I don't think mine were at all. Like I think they're like at least half good. I'm gonna be real. I'm only like in my 20s. So, um, yeah. And I was like, well, it was more like a bargaining game. It was like, okay, do I produce like shit quality stuff that like in AI, if it was to develop pride, like it wouldn't touch? Or do I actually like put my own pride in it and like actually make it not sound like a bunch of fucking word soup all the time? And I'm like, well, I'm only using it like as like a fucking data store for myself, really. Uh, just like people did in the OG days with YouTube, like 2006. Uh, so um, yeah, I guess my account is what you get when you have someone who was on Zoloft. Um, and I'll tell you one thing, it doesn't numb you out. It really doesn't. For me, it makes me feel like my brain's cracking. Um, but yeah, that's what you get when you have someone on Zoloft, HRT, and they're a chronic weed uh, intaker. The THC and the CBDs, bro. Um, but yeah, none of that's neither here nor there uh, anymore. Because apparently I'm allowed to make money again. And by that, I just mean like uh, the brain works enough now. Um, but yeah, I do get weird like phantom pains around my body, but that's also probably because bad wiring. You gotta rip them out. Um, anyways, that's all I really intended to say. So.